we're opening a lawsuit against you because of you've said that this brand fits this car and we're pricing it differently. Like, at what point does that happen? We don't know. We know.
Just when everyone thought the hardest part was over, Mat Armstrong shared an update that nobody wanted to hear. After spending a huge amount of money and countless hours rebuilding one of the most challenging cars of his career, he is now facing another serious problem. What exactly happened? And why has this unexpected setback changed everything? Could this be the biggest obstacle Mat has ever faced? Join us as we uncover Mat Armstrong's shocking update and what it means for the future. The bold Ferrari rebuild faces an unexpected roadblock. Mat Armstrong spent an incredible 100,000 British pounds on a Ferrari that had been damaged so badly that it was considered beyond traditional repair. Instead of giving up, he spent several months rebuilding the car with the goal of creating something that had never been built before, not even by Ferrari itself. After all the time, effort, and skill he invested, he was almost ready to start the engine. Then, everything suddenly changed. Ferrari stepped in and refused to let him continue with the project. This was not the first time that a famous supercar manufacturer had stopped Mat from working on one of its vehicles. Bugatti had done something similar in the past, and many people believed that situation was already serious. However, many members of the car community believe that Ferrari's decision was even more shocking. According to many enthusiasts, what happened this time was much worse. For anyone unfamiliar with Mat Armstrong, he is a British YouTuber with more than 6.5 million subscribers. He has become well known for taking on projects that most people would never even consider. His specialty is buying crashed and written-off supercars that others have completely given up on. Using his mechanical knowledge and rebuilding skills, he restores these vehicles and brings them back to life. In some cases, he even improves them beyond their original condition. Over the years, Mat has rebuilt many famous supercars. His projects include a completely totaled Porsche GT3 RS, a heavily damaged Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, an Aston Martin DBX that had been fully submerged underwater, and a Ferrari 812 Superfast that he rebuilt from almost nothing before giving it to his father as a gift. He also rebuilt a badly damaged Lamborghini Revuelto, one of the most electronically advanced hypercars ever produced, restoring it until it looked and performed like a brand new car. According to mechanics and several automobile experts, Mat is known for taking on the toughest challenges instead of choosing easy projects. He is constantly attempting repairs that many people believe are impossible. Because of this, millions of viewers from around the world follow his work and watch every stage of his rebuilding projects. When Mat revealed that he had purchased a wrecked Ferrari 296 GTB, excitement quickly spread throughout the car community. The car had suffered such severe damage that Ferrari itself believed it could not be repaired. Many people immediately recognized that this would become one of the most challenging and remarkable projects of his career, and they were eager to see the final result. What nobody expected, however, was that the greatest challenge would not be the damaged parts or the complex engineering of the vehicle. Instead, the biggest obstacle became Ferrari itself. Ferrari appeared to have a clear reason for stopping the project. The Ferrari 296 GTB was one of the company's most important models, and the damage was considered beyond repair. If Ferrari believed the vehicle could not be fixed, it was understandable that the company would not want someone else attempting to rebuild it. This left one major question. When Mat Armstrong finally got hold of the wrecked Ferrari 296 GTB, just how badly damaged was the car that even Ferrari believed it could never be repaired? Ferrari's most impossible rebuild challenge. It goes without saying that Ferrari cars are among the most popular and admired performance vehicles in the world. However, the Ferrari 296 GTB is far more than just another Ferrari. It is one of the most advanced cars ever created by the company in Maranello, combining cutting-edge engineering with modern hybrid technology. The Ferrari 296 GTB is powered by a 3.0-liter twin-turbocharged V6 engine paired with an electric motor. Together, they produce an incredible 830 horsepower. With that much power, the car delivers breathtaking performance. It can accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in less than 3 seconds, making it one of the quickest road cars Ferrari has ever built. A brand new Ferrari 296 GTB starts at around 270,000 British pounds. It is not simply a fast sports car, it is packed with advanced electronic systems, multiple electronic control units, complex safety features, and a sophisticated hybrid battery system. All of these technologies make it feel more like a powerful computer on wheels than a traditional sports car. Ferrari engineers spent years designing and developing every part of the 296 GTB. Countless hours went into creating a machine that combined speed, performance, and advanced technology. During that process, they never expected one of these cars to become the focus of a YouTube rebuild project. Still, there is something unique about supercars. When one person sees a vehicle that is beyond repair, another person sees an opportunity to take on an extraordinary challenge. The Ferrari that Mat Armstrong bought had an unfortunate history. After it was purchased, it was shipped to Cyprus. At some point, the previous owner decided to switch off the driver assistance systems while driving on an open road. Considering that the car produces 830 horsepower, this was an extremely risky decision. The outcome was devastating. The crash left the Ferrari with severe damage that would make even experienced mechanics hesitate. The suspension had been completely ripped off. The floor of the car had been punctured. The wiring harnesses suffered extensive damage. Although the airbags deployed as they were designed to do, the impact left the vehicle badly damaged throughout its structure and interior. The condition of the car immediately discouraged the professionals who first inspected it. After only a brief walk around the vehicle, they decided not to attempt the repair. The damage was simply too extensive for them to take on. The only remaining option was to return the car to Ferrari and ask the manufacturer for an official assessment. If anyone could repair it, surely Ferrari could. The damaged Ferrari was taken to a Ferrari dealership in Cyprus. The response was surprising. The estimated repair cost was incredibly high, but that alone was not the reason the car was abandoned. The real problem was much more serious. According to the official Ferrari network, a Ferrari 296 GTB with damage this severe had never been repaired before, not even by Ferrari itself. That conclusion effectively decided the future of the vehicle. The car was officially written off. At that point, it was considered beyond repair. It was viewed as nothing more than a wreck that could never return to the road. If Ferrari itself believed the project could not be completed, it was difficult to imagine anyone else succeeding. Most people would have accepted that decision and moved on. Mat Armstrong did not. When he learned about the situation, he saw something completely different. Instead of seeing an impossible repair, he saw a challenge worth taking on. He decided to buy the damaged Ferrari and attempt what almost everyone else believed could not be done. To begin the project, Mat flew from the United Kingdom to Cyprus. He did not arrive empty-handed. He brought around 9,000 British pounds worth of genuine Ferrari replacement parts that he had already obtained before starting the work. Then, the rebuilding process began. One of the most surprising parts of the project was Ferrari's response. The company did not stop him from working on the car. Instead, they allowed him to carry out the repairs inside the dealership yard. Mat was able to use the dealership's tools while surrounded by brand-new Ferrari models. The dealership staff watched the work as it progressed, likely amazed by what they were witnessing. Mat Armstrong faces Ferrari's biggest challenge yet. When Mat reconnected the 12-volt battery and turned the ignition key, the dashboard came to life immediately. However, instead of good news, it displayed a message that would discourage almost anyone. The screen showed a hybrid system failure warning and instructed him to take the car to a Ferrari dealer. The V6 engine would not start. All the electronics that Mat had spent so much time repairing refused to communicate with each other. To find the problem, they even asked a Ferrari technician to connect the official diagnostic tool. Even then, nothing worked. The system could not read any fault codes. It was as if the car simply refused to wake up. Everything pointed toward the hybrid system. The Ferrari depends on its hybrid battery to start, and Matt believed the crash had caused internal damage to it. Hoping this was the only problem, he spent around £18,000 on a replacement battery. It was a huge expense, but he hoped it would finally bring the car back to life. Unfortunately, replacing the battery made no difference. The Ferrari still refused to start. It would not charge, and the dashboard continued to display warning messages. Among them were battery thermal runaway warnings and several temperature sensor faults. There were a few small signs of progress. The hazard lights finally stopped flashing, and for the first time, the ignition switched on properly. Even so, the car still would not fully run. After replacing one of the most expensive parts in the entire vehicle, Matt found himself back where he had started. The only difference was that he had invested even more money into the project while still having no clear answer. There was a technical reason behind these problems. According to car experts, the serious crash had activated the Ferrari's pyrotechnic fuse. This is a special safety device designed to disconnect the high-voltage electrical system after a major impact. Unlike a normal circuit breaker, this fuse cannot simply be reset. Once it activates, it destroys itself to make sure the power remains disconnected. After that happens, it must be replaced, and resetting the system behind it cannot be done with an ordinary diagnostic scanner. If this had been a normal petrol-powered car, Matt could probably have found a way to work around many of the faults. Mechanics have been doing that for years by forcing an engine to start or bypassing certain faulty sensors. However, the Ferrari 296 is a hybrid, making the situation far more complicated. Its battery management module acts as the control center for the entire high-voltage system. This module decides whether electricity is allowed to flow through the vehicle. After the crash, it had placed the Ferrari into a permanent lockout state. While the car remained in that condition, the engine would not even attempt to start, no matter what anyone tried. The hybrid system and the combustion engine are so closely connected that neither can operate without approval from the other. Because of that, the problem was no longer just mechanical. It had become a much more complex electronic issue. According to Alvaston Mobile mechanic Daniel Preston, this is where repairing modern Ferraris becomes especially difficult. He explained that the physical repair work is often not the hardest part. Instead, the biggest challenge is everything surrounding the vehicle. Getting genuine parts and technical information can be extremely difficult because Ferrari dealers are often unwilling to support independent repair shops. Instead, they usually direct owners back to official Ferrari service centers. Even though the United Kingdom has right to repair laws, Daniel Preston explained that access to the information and tools needed for repairs is not always guaranteed. This matched exactly what Matt was now experiencing. Because modern Ferraris are so tightly controlled, he believed the only way forward was to use Ferrari's own diagnostic systems. These tools cost tens of thousands of pounds, and even after buying them, certain functions still require factory authorization before they can be used. Ferrari did agree to help diagnose the vehicle, but there was one condition. On paper, the requirement seemed simple. In reality, it was almost impossible and incredibly frustrating. Ferrari said they would only carry out a proper diagnosis after every missing component had been installed exactly as it had been before the accident. That meant all the airbags, sensors, lights, radiators, and hybrid modules had to be fitted and connected first. In other words, Matt had to rebuild the entire Ferrari back to its original condition before Ferrari would even tell him what was preventing it from starting. At that moment, Matt realized he was trapped in a difficult situation. Ferrari would only help if the car was completely rebuilt. However, completing the rebuild required him to spend even more money without any guarantee that the Ferrari would ever start. One-of-a-kind Ferrari 296 project comes to a standstill. Matt refused to give up on the project. Ferrari had made it clear that the car needed to be complete before they would even inspect or diagnose it. Instead of stopping, Matt decided to take the project much further. He set himself a new goal. He wanted to build the most extraordinary Ferrari 296 the world had ever seen. To make that happen, Matt managed to secure an official Ferrari 296 Challenge body kit. These were the same ultra-lightweight parts used on the track-only race version of the car. The kit included the special front and rear bumpers, an aggressive rear diffuser, lightweight body panels, and a huge rear spoiler that looked more like something from a Le Mans race car than a road vehicle. At that point, the project was no longer about simply repairing a damaged Ferrari. Mat decided to create a road-going Ferrari 296 that looked exactly like a full challenge race car, something that had never existed before. Reaching that goal meant making major changes so every part would fit properly. As the build progressed, it became much more than a normal repair. The team relocated the radiators, made custom mounting points, and redesigned the pipework. All of this work was completed before they even began focusing on the original problem of why the car would not start. Mat changed everything that needed to be changed. He spent countless hours underneath the car connecting wiring, fabricating parts, and making every modification required. Slowly, the badly damaged hybrid Ferrari 296 was transformed into a challenge spec machine. The result was remarkable. Sitting inside Mat's workshop was a car that looked exactly like the official Ferrari Challenge race version. Visually, it was almost impossible to tell it apart from the cars competing in Ferrari's own motorsport championships. However, the reconstruction soon slowed down. Weeks passed, and then months. Mat ordered the final important parts needed to complete the build. Some of those parts arrived without any problems, but after that, everything stopped. Just as the project seemed ready to become one of Mat's greatest builds, Ferrari brought the progress to a complete halt. Mat contacted Ferrari to ask about the remaining parts he was still waiting for, including the special fenders, radiators, and other essential components for the challenge conversion. That was when Ferrari delivered unexpected news. They explained that some of the parts were restricted. According to Ferrari, those components required authorization linked directly to the vehicle identification number. Their system checked whether the vehicle was officially approved to receive those parts. If the vehicle had been a genuine Ferrari 296 Challenge race car, there would have been no issue. However, Mat's car was originally a crashed Ferrari 296 GTB that was being converted into a race-inspired car inside his workshop in Britain. Because of that, it did not qualify. By then, Mat had already fully committed to the project. Ferrari had already supplied part of the challenge kit before its system flagged the remaining components. As a result, the car was left in an unusual position. It had already been partly converted and completely transformed on the outside, but it remained mechanically and electronically unable to move. The project was now stuck in the worst possible situation. It was no longer a standard road car, yet it could not become the complete challenge spec machine Mat had planned to build. Despite that setback, the project itself had progressed well in many ways. The biggest problem remained unchanged. The car still would not start. Mat contacted Ferrari again, hoping to speak with someone who could offer advice and explain whether bringing the car to them would help. Ferrari responded with another condition. They said the Ferrari 296 first needed to be inspected at a certified Ferrari body shop. That created another major obstacle because the car had already been rebuilt outside Ferrari's official repair procedures. Independent builders also did not have access to Ferrari's repair documentation. On top of that, the car was now fitted with a complete challenge body kit that had never been intended for road registration. Meeting Ferrari's inspection requirement became an almost impossible task. Mat later sent an email directly to Ferrari. He asked the company to reconsider its decision and hoped they could provide a way forward. Up to this point, he is still waiting for a response. Meanwhile, the remarkable Ferrari 296 remains inside Mat's workshop. It is currently the only road-going challenge-spec Ferrari 296 in the world. It looks incredible, but it cannot go anywhere. When the car community learned what had happened, many people quickly criticized Ferrari. The situation left many wondering whether this controversy was even bigger than the Bugatti drama. What do you think about the remarkable Ferrari? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Before you go, be sure to click on the video shown on your screen.